All right, I'm covering the Buffalo Bills draft, 2025 draft. Some maybe new viewers don't understand, but I've been covering all the teams for a long time. My sponsors want me to cover it. And I love to cover all the teams. It helps me understand the game better. So I'm going to cover them fairly, same way I cover my Dolphins. Not always right, but I try to give the best evaluation I can because that's the most important thing to me is credibility and accuracy. And I can't control the accuracy, but I can control my honesty and trying to do a job that's like a journalist. So, going to get into the Bills draft. Big draft for them. They let a lot of players go last year. I didn't think it was that big a deal. Clearly, they won the division. They made it deep into the playoffs. So, they're a good team. And, you'll get everything that the opponent does. They sucks, and then it doesn't usually play out that way. I'm not here to do that. This is know your enemy if you're a Dolphins fan, Jets fan, a Patriots fan. And if you're a Bills fan, this is to try to give my evaluation. I've done a pretty good job over the years evaluating the Bills. If you don't know what I've my evaluations for your team, go check it out. So anyway, this draft is a very interesting one. Brandon Beane, I think, is a very good GM. I've liked most of the stuff he's done. He's clearly done a good job because he's put together a team that's been here for a long time, winning the division and going to the playoffs. But you saw, maybe if you hadn't, he came out and he was very antagonistic to some fans who kind of didn't like the draft or didn't like that they didn't go for a receiver. I do agree 100% with the philosophy of this draft. This team can put on points. They've gone to pass balance, running the football, allowing Allen to be the generator. You're going to get the points, but you've got to take care of this defense. This defense is really what let the team down, and it has a lot of holes. Still played well, but ultimately it was smoke and mirrors where a lot of excellent red zone defense, and then being supplied by lots of points from the offense. So this had to be a defensive draft, and that's what it was. But the philosophy, just like I say with my Dolphins, the philosophy is one thing. What about the execution? So I'm going to get into all these picks and give you my takes on that. So if you like what I'm doing here, guys, please like, subscribe, comment, watch as much as you can because that's going to keep me in a business. Need to make my sponsors happy. So if you can, help me out with that. So Maxwell Hairston was the first pick. From what I'm told by a lot of people, the Bills wanted a defensive lineman in that first round. I don't know if that's true or not. My Dolphins picking Grant kind of set things to happen much quicker than I think the Bills anticipated. So I don't know if they were planning on going for Hairston or they really were looking at a defensive lineman. But Hairston, I think, is a very interesting prospect, although there's some things to be concerned. First thing is when I looked up, I saw a comparison to Cam Smith. Cam Smith has been a disaster for a second-round pick for the Miami Dolphins. Injured all the time, not good when he plays. I don't know if it's a fair comparison, but there are similarities. So he had a step-back season last year. I think a lot of it had to do with the bad shoulder. He's a smallish kind of guy at 185 pounds, but he's a fierce player. He's a good tackler. He's very fast. I think he's the fastest guy in the draft, 4.28. But he's not as quick as he is fast. And that can be a problem if you're playing man, but I don't think that that's what the Bills are going to do. He's actually very physical at the line of scrimmage. And with the zone coverage, you don't have to be as quick twitch. It's nice if you got it, but you don't have to be as quick twitch because you're not playing man. The fact that he likes to get into guys and get physical, that can help too. The press, press and bump and run. So there's a lot of things to like with what he fits into this team. He had lots of picks, but a lot of them were bad throws. I think overall he's a good player, but the size thing does come into play. he's going to have to bump up a little bit on the weight. And you know what? When they run for the combine, they really want the 40. And so this guy could sacrifice maybe a little bit on his 40, which I think he should, and get into that 195, 192 range. But they needed a corner. They got rid of, you guys got rid of Rasul Douglas. Elam was a bust and you got rid of him. He was your first round pick. So Brandon Beane had Elam, who was a bust. Okay, you move on from him, good deal. But you can't have two corners that don't produce in the first round. So this is the first point where Beane's credibility, his resume is on the line. This guy's got to be, you figure he's going to be second. Benford's going to be your first. He is physical, but with the bad shoulder and the size, it does bring a little bit of concern. So I don't know if this was the best pick. It was a need pick. I think maybe D-tackle was the desire, but wasn't really there. And then you got to ask yourself, is Will Johnson in the second round, how does he pan out? He had a lot of issues with his health. People are concerned about it's a bone on bone and he won't have a long career. So Hairston is a big piece of the puzzle to both this team this year and Brandon Beane's cred. But then the Will Johnson is a good comparison to see how these two guys play out. Then the second round, they went that D-tackle, big trade up, not huge. They moved, they swapped the 62 pick for the 72 pick, so they dropped down 10 spots. The 104 was a big one. They moved out of that all the way down to the 240. So there was ammo in there. And they got TJ Sanders. I'm not sure about this pick because for me, Alfred Collins was right there, who's an unbelievable dominant run stopper. And he's kind of like Deion Walker, but I think a better prospect, 6'6", 340. He's built way better. And so you get Deion Walker later on. I'll get to that. But Alfred Collins was there. He, I think, is a much better prospect than Deion Walker. But then it was also Darius Alexander, who was taken first in the third round. This guy could be a true stud, and he's very similar to TJ Sanders. Pass rusher, TJ Sanders is 3-tech. He's not really stout against the run. I don't know how. I guess he didn't know where Alexander was going to go, but if you're going to trade up that high, to me, Alexander got more potential. We'll see. We don't know. But that's going to be a big compare. Alfred Collins and Darius Alexander. I don't know. It just seems you got to stop the run. I understand you got teams out there that like to throw the football, but you got to get past the Ravens. They can run the football. You're going to see the Patriots and the Jets running the football heavy. I think my teams will be running the football heavy. You got the Steelers. You got the Chargers. And TJ Sanders is just really more of a pass rusher unless he can get his strength up and grow as a player. He's a 3-tech. But Darius Alexander's got all that. So to me, that's another phase where Brandon Beane's reputation and resume is going to be on the line. Alfred Collins and Darius Alexander, to me, feel like a better pick, especially for the trade up than TJ Sanders, but we'll see. Then I had talked to my man Tommy at Mafia Sports Report and said, I like Landon Jackson for you. I like Landon Jackson for me, but I don't think we're going to grab him. And you got Landon Jackson in the third. To me, this was my favorite pick. 6'6", 266. He's kind of a little bit like Rousseau, although not as nimble. But this guy can play. This guy is a real opportunity to swing it out of the park, to hit it out of the park on a nice swing in third round. He can set the edge, which is very important, especially for my Dolphins that like run to the edge. Maybe he can develop into a pass rusher. I think this is the most consistent and surefire pick of the whole group here. I really like him. The kid has got a great attitude. He's married. He has the alopecia thing. He's not here to go party and screw around. This is what he's about, and he is physical. And the guy had an over 40 broad jump at 6'6" and had some great numbers. Shamir Stewart, he was just a little bit below Shamir Stewart, who's a more athletic player. I thought this was the best pick. I love this pick for you guys. Not so much for my Dolphins, because he's going to really help you. He's going to play behind Bosa, who likely might get injured. And then you got, what's the other guy over there? I always forget his name. Espinosa. So you got Espinosa there, who's more the pass rusher, but this guy will help set the tone in the run game, and I still think he can develop into a lot more. So for me, that's my favorite pick. Then you went into the next round, and you may trade it up again for Deion Walker. You gave a fourth and a fifth, 6'7", 330. Alfred Collins, again, is just a better prospect. Big guy. But he's a little top heavy, kind of a gut, smaller calves, gets a little high. We had Raekwon Davis, who was 6'6", 330. You try to play him in the pit, and he did really good the first year, but his knee got taken out, and he's just downhill from there. I don't know about this pick. C.J. West was there. The 49ers took him, and he is a stout interior player. And maybe that's not what you want. But to me, Ty Robinson, who the Eagles took, and the Eagles have a phenomenal resume. I thought Ty Robinson was a better prospect than Deion Walker. He's got this phenomenal size, but it just doesn't look to be built right. And so he's a 3-tech guy too. He's not really the nose tackle, just too tall. But at that height, that really can put a block on the quarterback trying to throw the football. He's obviously big and powerful, and so he is going to cause some problems, but there is some prototype issues there, and I don't know if that, especially with the trade up, to me, Darius Alexander and Ty Robinson probably would have been the better pairing than TJ Sanders and Deion Walker, or even Ty Robinson and Alfred Collins, but I don't know. Beans had a great run of getting guys that, they hit. I mean, Benford was taken in the 6th round. There's a lot of guys that you guys have found. So I don't know. I think you wanted to get that D rotation. You had, you have Daquan, Gunjabi, Dwayne Carter, you got last year. He didn't play that well, but he got injured. 3rd rounder. So you got a lot of investments in this D line now. You got Oliver, as you've always had, but he's a little bit smaller. I don't know who the exact guy is to be the total run stopper besides Daquan. And I think you really need more stoutness inside because you got those light guys on the top. Maybe you're going to use Rousseau and then Landon Jackson to kind of fill that out to cause those double teams. I don't know. Again, Alfred Collins, Darius Alexander, and Ty Robinson, I like them as better prospects. But Bean is Bean, so we'll see. So then you came back and you got Jordan Hancock in the 5th, safety, tackler. You guys do really well finding guys in the back end with your drafts and the cornerbacks. You needed some safety, depth. He does offer that help. He's very athletic, but sort of has some failings to his game, but he's a physical guy and he's a tackler. And with your love of small fronts, small defenses, and the speed that what we got and how the teams are playing their defense, I guess this guy could either be a special teamer for you or a developer. My second favorite pick for you, as far as consistency, was Jackson Hall, blocker, tight end. This guy is big and he can block. He's got a bad attitude. And you add him to Knox and you add him to Kincaid. Both those guys are more pass catchers, especially Kincaid. I like this pick a ton. It's going to help you to do what you want to do, is run that football. And he might be able to develop into something that can catch, but you've got yourself an excellent pick in the 5th round for a blocker. See if you can develop into more. You never know. Allen helps out a lot with that. But then you came back, Dorian Strong in the 6th. He's a good blocker. Another guy, 6'1", 185, a little light, run stopper. He's athletic, but he didn't really have the production in the coverage game, but that can develop, especially with a zone, especially when you got McDermott kind of training him up. I think there's a potential there, at least a special team. He's a guy can fill out because his secondary definitely needs depth and definitely needs help. Came back again in the 6th with Chase Lunt, 6'7", 304. That's very, very tall and pretty darn skinny. But he's going to be a developmental guy. But he's got good hands, short arms at 32 inches. So he's definitely going to be playing guard. But can he play guard at 6'7"? His bend is going to play a big part. But he's a strong guy. He got, I think it was 20 reps on the bench, which is not great. But when you're 6'7", the leverage is not there, and so it's not terrible. I think this guy could go into the oven and cook for a little bit. I like Brown you got a couple of years ago. In the third round, he developed to be an excellent player. And so this guy might just put some weight on and get himself. He had no competition in college. So this is all projection. But, you know, at least always need to keep adding to that offensive line. And so maybe he does develop into a guard. Don't see it as a tackle, but you never know. And then you came back and you got Cater Parker. I don't usually pay this. Caden Prather, receiver. I don't know. I guess special team or something, and maybe develop. It's hard to find these seventh rounders. So, but when you look at all of this, there's guys that were just got more flame from more people than some of the guys you took. It looks like maybe you kind of went left field on some things. So it'll be a big deal for Beane to be right, especially with the ammo use, especially with the need in the D interior, especially with you guys wanting to win now. But for me, I mean, you could have had Will Johnson, Darius Alexander, and Ty Robinson along with Landon Jackson. Johnson's got the knee thing, so I understand that. I really understand that one. But I still can't get my mind around trade up for TJ Sanders when you could have sat. You don't really know, but you could have got Alexander, Alfred Collins, and then Deion Walker. That's the big one. Small calves, thin ankles, tall. He's going to have to get his pad level very low. But Ty Robinson really, and for the Eagles to grab him, that's a darn good sign. So this is about Brandon Beane being smarter than other people. I do think his philosophy was correct. I do think you guys are probably going to win a division. I do think you're a darn good team, but I just don't know about some of these picks because Landon Jackson and then Jackson Hawes, those are really good picks in those rounds. I mean, I'll say one last time. I don't mean to, but I'm noticing it now. I mean, Will Johnson, risky. I get it. So maybe not. So Hairston, Darius Alexander, Landon Jackson, Ty Robinson, and then Jackson Hawes, along with the rest. It feels better. But Beane, he has been a smart guy. So we'll see, Bills fans. Good luck on the season. I mean it. We don't control anything. We're just fans. I hate the fan hatred. It's so annoying. We're just people watching a game for other people making millions of money. Who the heck wants to be hating on other people? I like to see you lose. I want to be better than you. But I sincerely say, good luck. You guys have been great to me. Hopefully we overcome you, but that's a long shot. And we got to look out for these Patriots. Don't sleep on these Patriots. And I do think the Jets have the best chance in a long while to be pretty decent. So get ready for the AFC East. I'm going to cover more teams, come back with the Bills as I get my energy up and focus up. But I do appreciate everything. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Oh, I can't say that on this one. Yeah, go Fins. I'm sorry. I got to do it. Curtis out. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.